94.3 Radio 1.
All come off a lovely weekend. I'm sure a lot of you, or maybe, well, some of you know that yesterday was World Mental Health Day. Now, you're probably wondering, why is it so important? It usually, it fell on a weekend. Can we just let it go, get into this week? I still think that the topic of mental health comes up so often that we really need to break it down on this morning's show. It's, of course, a day, if you look at World Mental Health Day, is a day that, it's used to recognize and, of course, bring about awareness about the issues of mental health that a lot of people face. And let's be honest, post-lockdown or even through the lockdown, issues of mental health have crept up like never before. What I'm really happy to say, though, is that India as a country, we're breaking away from that stigma of not going to therapy, not seeking treatment for mental health. And you listening to this can further aid in that cause. Or maybe you're a person who's listening to this and you're like, listen, maybe, just maybe, I might be going through something and I need some help, but I don't know where to start. I'm looking for this show to be actually a little bit of help for you in a time like this. Joining me on the other side to actually break this all down is Priyanka MB. She's a very cool little person that has founded this wonderful center called Inspiron. Now, you probably come across them in Bengaluru. They're India's first psychological well-being cafe. She's a psychologist herself. It's good to see you. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for having me here. I hope everything is well on your side too.
Well, a lot of people kind of just, breeze over the day of World Mental Health Day that actually fell yesterday. And what an important day it becomes, especially in the 21st century. In 2021, it becomes such an important day, to say the least. But man, Priyanka, before I even get to anything else, where are we as a country? Where do we stand? What are some of the major issues we face when it comes to mental health as a country?
Okay. Pre-pandemic stats, we're talking about 1 amongst 4 of us undergoing depression or anxiety at one or the other point of time in our life. 1 out of 4. Now, what are we also talking about on the other side? Pre-pandemic, but 85% of them hesitate to seek support. Why? Stigma, misinformation, negligence. We don't even know it's important. And most importantly, we don't know whom to get to and when. So that's where we are. And I'm sure the numbers are only rising post-pandemic. The rates of depression, stress, anxiety, addiction, domestic violence, relationship concerns have just been mounting. It's getting difficult and challenging.
Yeah. And like you said, that stigma that exists, can I say it's a little bit better in the urban areas, or would you say that it's worse, the stigma around it is worse in urban areas than it is in rural India?
It's gotten better in the urban areas now because we otherwise sought different coping methods, whereas in the rural areas, we had supporting systems like our family and friends, right? But over here, what we would otherwise do is cope with unhealthy coping mechanisms. Now, that could be some sort of an addiction. But I would say it's gotten better now because we see everything converting to an online medium. So because of teleconsultations, we have seen a rise in people seeking out help.
Nice.
Now,
Okay.
it's anonymous, confidential, comfort of their home, and they're able to express themselves. So it has gotten much better post-pandemic.
Dealing with mental health in India is not an easy thing. One, we spoke about this. Number two, we also, spoke about what are some of the common issues. If I had to ask you to blanketly tell me what's the most common mental health issue that Indians face, like, out of a population, majority of the population have this, what is it?
Depression and anxiety.
And is there any particular reason for the same? Are Indians predisposed to conditions of mental illness, or is it? Do you just think it's a host of external factors acting on today's generation?
I would say it's a global condition, not just with India. It's not specific to any genetic loading, but we do see these conditions being most prevalent only because of it's a neurotic condition, right? I could go into explaining that, but whereas the psychosis, which is going to be far more rare, it has a lot of biochemical neurotransmitter changes, which I'm not getting into now, but
Right.
it has contributing factors. It is influenced by a lot of environment, supporting factors, and inability to seek support.
There are a lot of, I know you believe that there are a lot of, say, for example, a lot of unfulfilled childhood memories, dreams that are
Yes.
driving forces that shape our personality. Um, Maybe some people don't believe that, but prove me wrong. Let's just say I was contesting that with you. Prove me wrong.
We are nothing but a bunch of patterns. I will do what I've been familiar with. I will do what I have known to do most of the time in my life because we love familiar spaces. And if that's my space of exposure, I'm likely to experience the same again. It's very simple. If I've seen my parents conflicting, my view about relationships would be challenged. Now, my ability to attract the right partner is definitely a little sketchy because I don't know what it is like to be in a healthy space, right?
Mm.
So when I don't know what it looks like, let's say I've heard about Porsche all the time, but when the car passes by in front of me, I won't be able to recognize it because I've never seen it
I understand.
as much as
That's
that.
that's a good example. What kind of prompted you to kind of get into this, Priyanka? Like, as a person, as an individual, what prompted you to kind of get into this space?
It started as this whole time when we saw a lot of people going through a lot of things. It started in 2011, right? Um, that blood of that teenager adolescent, which became too serious in life, where you saw people not being able to simply choose their career choices and pressurized, at least in the times where we were supposed to do engineering or medicine. The lack of understanding, the poor family dynamics definitely made me want to plunge into it, wanting to make that difference and ensuring that if we can bring about a smile in one house, then why not?
That's awesome. That's so cool. And your background was, were you always in this space, or did you come from a completely different background and made the switch?
No, I chose this very personally. I knew that I wanted to be more in this social transformation space. I wanted to be in medicine and teaching. So I culminated each of these, put it down into the space that I knew I often heard, oh, you're such a good listener. And I felt like, okay, that's my innate trait. Why don't I use that as my skills? I put my passion, I put my skill together, and here we are.
Priyanka, we do have a little bit of almost a announcement, right, that we want to make to everybody. Let's say someone listening to this is suffering from some form of mental illness, some form of, some mental trauma, whatever it is, right? And they need help, but they don't know where to start. What are we going to do?
Start coming down to our center. We're located in Dumblur. We have a free mental health checkup drive going on, right? We want everybody to screen yourself, go through the psychometric test. We have our expert psychologists, psychiatrists available to you through the day. We're available from 11 to 5. Walk in, sip a cup of coffee. You know what we driven by? It's consult over a cup of coffee with our expert. It's a very casual environment. Sit down in our balcony, in our terrace, talk about what you're experiencing, talk about how you're tending to someone you love. We've all been stressed, we've all been vulnerable. So drive in, walk in with for a free mental health checkup. You also can grab in a lot of gift therapy sessions, right?
Oh,
If you love
nice.
someone, you want to give them something, come pick up this voucher. We have a lot of discounted packages going on because we care. We know that for people to seek support, we want to make it affordable too. While you do that, get your pets along.
Oh, cool. You get to bring pets down too? Oh, man, that's cool.
Yes,
That's cool.
yes, yes.
I want to give a small little disclaimer here. Weirdly, this is something that they were actually just doing yesterday, right? On account of yesterday being one mental health day. And then because I don't do a show yesterday, Priyanka was like, listen, you know what? Let's just extend this through the week, right? So she's been so sweet to kind of do that. So, like she said, if you've been suffering from some form of mental health issue that you need some help, some coaching through, go down, have a cup of coffee with them, and it's absolutely free. All right, it's absolutely free. I'm repeating that one more time. Go get that mental health checkup. What you got to search for on Google Maps is Inspiron, right? Is that right? Is it just Inspiron?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Inspiron Psychological Wellbeing Center. You also have a list of tools that you can pick up, self-care kits that you can watch, audios, videos, read through, worksheets, and most importantly, our mental health helpline as well. And what you get to do is talk, point out what you're going through, and we are right here to listen to everything that you may be experiencing.
What I like is, say, for example, you might not be comfortable coming down to the center for whatever reason, right? Maybe you're looking out for yourself in COVID. Maybe, you don't want people to see that. You don't want people to see that you have maybe you're dealing with some mental health issues and you don't want to be seen physically there. That's where what she's exactly saying, that number comes into play. So go ahead and dial that number as well. Priyanka is the founder of India's first psychological well-being cafe. They're called Inspiron Psychological Center. You can check them out online. And I want to say, Priyanka, thank you for extending that courtesy to everybody listening into the rest of Bangalore. I really genuinely hope that people who are listening to this get the help that they need for their mental health, and wishing you all the very best. May you continue to change a lot of lives out there.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. And I welcome each one of you into this drive, hoping to see all of you in. Thank you.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from Radio 1.